All right, let's do some Mathity-Math. It says here, write the following displacement as a column vector and then in IJ form. So essentially, they want us to just answer the question once and then write it in two different ways. Cool, we can handle that. Okay, first things first, I think we look at this triangle and we need to acknowledge that when you travel down from this north and saying you go down, 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 that whole trip would be 150 degrees. Okay, well, if we know that's 150 degrees and we know that this is a right angle of 90 degrees, we can figure out pretty fast the value of that angle of the triangle. The value of that angle of the triangle would just be 150 minus 90, which is 60 degrees. Okay, so we know that this is 60 degrees. Now we're off to the races. We pretty much got everything we need to go ahead and solve this thing. So when we look at this, what we're trying to do here is put it in column form. So if we put it in column form, it'd be like the vector. I want to make my answer the vector is, and you're going to have a column form, looks like this. It's just your x value or your I value, and that's going to be on top of your y value, which is also known as your j value. So all we really got to do first, I'm going to just leave that there to put my answer later. First is all we got to do is find our x value and our y value. So we can handle that. Looking at this, we have this right triangle right here. And we have the hypotenuse. But we're going to try and find this x value and this y value. And to do that, we're just going to use good old-fashioned right triangle trigonometry. And right triangle trigonometry tells us, we have sine, cosine, and we have tangent. And sine is just the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Cosine is just the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And tangent is just the opposite over adjacent. So we're going to use one of these three to help us out. So this right here is my adjacent side, right? And this is my opposite side. If you think about it, I'm at 60. I go opposite, there's my opposite, hypotenuse is the longest, and the only one left has to be adjacent. So if I'm trying to find this adjacent side, well, let's think about what could I use. I have a hypotenuse and I need the A. Well, this has a hypotenuse, but that's O. This has a hypotenuse, ooh, and A. So this is what I want to use. So what I need to say here is cosine, 60 degrees, because we have the angle, equals, and it says here cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, the adjacent is my x value, and the hypotenuse is worth 17. Okay, remember, our goal, though, is to get x all alone. So why is x not all alone? Well, it is being divided by 17. So the opposite of dividing by 17 is multiplying by 17. So I just multiply both sides by 17. These cancel. And now I have x all by itself. So I have that x is worth 17 times cosine 60 degrees. And I can find that value. I can find that value pretty fast. I just take out my calculator. And I just say, okay, let's go over here so you can see better. All I say is 17 cosine 60 degrees. And make sure your calculator's in degree mode. And you hit enter and you get 8.5. And just like that, we know that this side goes over 8.5. And if you look at the question, it was in meters. Okay, 8.5. So I'll write that right up here. My x will be 8.5. Okay, we got one answer going. Great. So now we do the same thing for the y. So this y is right here. It's on what we call the opposite side, as we reference 60. And we have the hypotenuse. So we need opposite, and we have hypotenuse, so we use sine. And you can follow this same process. I just say sine 60 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. I don't know O, but I'll call it y because I know it's my y side. And over my hypotenuse of 17. Again, I got to get this y all by itself, but it's not all alone because it's being divided by the 17. So I multiply both sides. That's just doing the opposite operation. The opposite of dividing by 17 is multiplying by 17. These now cancel. And you're going to get y is 17 sine 60 degrees. bust out the handy dandy calculator, and I can just say 17 sine 60 degrees, and I get 14.7. We'll call it 14.7. So that was my x, that was my y. So coming up here, I want to write 14.7. And then we're going to have to be really careful here. You see, in actuality, though, the length is 14.7. Okay, that makes perfect sense. But if you think about this on a coordinate plane, right, it's going down, right? It's going negative 14.7. So let's just stick that in there, make sure we're not making that mistake, okay? Because otherwise we'd be way up here on accident. So it's going down, okay? So that's the first part. That is column form, column vector, yeah. And then it says, well, we also want it in ij form. Well, we can handle that, no problem, because I is the x and j is the y. So in ij form, we just know it's 8.5i minus 14.7j. There you go. Those are your two answers that they asked for. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified when I make more practice problems for you. And as always, if you want a practice problem, just leave a comment below and I'll try to make the practice problem for you as soon as I can. All right, thanks. Bye.